Let me invite on the stage our session chair for today's panel discussion, Technology Innovations in the Education Sector, Shri Ravinath Raman ji, Secretary Education, Government of Uttarakhand. Very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you, Ravi ji, Krishna ji. I thank Elets for organizing this Elets third India Transformation Summit in Dehradun. I warmly welcome our DG Education. I also welcome the other dignitaries on the dais, Mr. A. Malla Reddy, Additional Secretary, Department of Higher Education, Government of Telangana, and Dr. Bala Kalyan, Deputy Director Technical, Commissionerate of Technical Education, Government of Andhra Pradesh. I also welcome all the esteemed delegates of this session on tech innovation in the education sector, and senior officials from the Directorate of Technical Education, Government of Uttarakhand. We have our Director of Secondary Education, Mr. Rakesh Kumar Saab. We also have some senior officials, other senior officials from our SCRT. I also welcome the officials who have come here from the other states, from all over the country. Thank you, Ashish, for setting the tone for this particular panel discussion. As we all know, the new education policy has been issued by the Government of India in 2020, and most of the states have done all the preliminary work on this new education policy. Education, as we all know, is a very important sector. It is one of the most important sector to make our future generation adapt to the coming challenges that they will be facing over this coming 25 years, which we call as the Amrit Kal, which the Honorable Prime Minister has also set the tone for development as India at 2047. And particularly this year is very significant as we celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in our 75th year of independence. And Uttarakhand state as such is one of the primary focus areas, focus states for the Government of India also. Uttarakhand being a hill state, a Himalayan state, it has its own challenges, it has its own problems, it has its own issues. We are a state which is very prone to disasters. We have faced a number of disasters. The 2013 Kedarnath disaster is a case in point which everybody knows. We have faced several earthquakes. In this scenario, we also know that Uttarakhand being a Himalayan state also has very remote locations, very remote areas where schools, particularly running the schools with the mandate as given by the Right to Education Act, wherein we need schools for a particular area or for a particular segment of population and with a particular reach for the local population. Uttarakhand Education Department has approximately 14,000 schools in the basic education sector and almost 13,000 schools in the secondary education sector. So we have about 27,000 schools, more than 27,000 schools in Uttarakhand. We have about 62,000 teachers and other employees in the education department. So for a small state like Uttarakhand, this is a very big department. Probably this is the biggest department in terms of manpower. And we have about, I think, how many students? I think 12 about 10.5 lakhs students. So education definitely becomes a very important sector for us. And when we talk of education, technological innovations in the education sector also becomes a very important issue. I have recently, along with my Director General, we have visited two states. We visited Gujarat, Gandhinagar, where we had the good fortune of seeing the Vidya Samiksha Kendra, VSK, which is a very good innovation in technological sector, and Uttarakhand government also wants to emulate the same practice, the good practice. We have our a very young and dynamic and a very energetic minister in our state who is very positive and who wants to implement this at the earliest in Uttarakhand. At the same time, we have one of our panelists from Haryana who was supposed to be in this panel discussion is unfortunately not present. We had also been to Haryana. We interacted with the state government of Haryana and understood their IT innovations, particularly in the transfer policy of Haryana, which is in which they have introduced the technology as innovation wherein they have a very nicely constructed MIS database of all the teachers, all the students and all the schools. And the entire transfer, according to a policy, is now digitized, wherein just by a click of the button, the entire transfer is done in minutes after a due process which is followed. And as per a survey conducted by the government of Haryana, they say that about 93, it has resulted in about 93% efficiency also, and satisfaction among the employees of the education sector in Haryana. So again, that is one of the practice which we would like to emulate in Uttarakhand.